Good afternoon, everyone. I am Siti Zubaida. Welcome to the fourth episode of GenZ at the Podium 2023. I'm honored to be your MC for this important discussion on should Malaysia adopt youth contract to ease youth unemployment. Before we dive into the discussion, let's take a moment to understand the significance of this conversation. The high rate of youth unemployment is a hotly debated issue around the world. Malaysian youths face challenges finding stable and decent employment, especially those without experience or skills. In the UK, a set of policies was introduced under the Youth Contract in 2012 to help young people gain a foothold in the job market and for employers to build a skilled workforce. Should the same policy be adopted in Malaysia? How feasible is this proposal and what is the impact? Many countries have created initiatives and solutions to ensure youth are secured in this job after graduation. For instance, in 2012, the UK government introduced a few sets of policies to youth contract. Today, we aim to explore the pros and cons and overall impact of adopting the UK youth contract to Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, GenZ at the Podium 2023 is organized by Kini Events with the great support from our partners, which are our collaborative partner, International Republican Institute IRI, official airline partner, My Airline, supporting partner, Ministry of Youth and Sports, soft skills training partner, Malaysian Institute of Debate and Public Speaking MIDP, Metaverse partner, Experiential Design Team EDT, co-partners, Undi 18, Undi Sabah, The Risers, Institute for Research and Development of Policy IRDP, and MYADP, the Malaysian Hub, Majlis Belia Malaysia MBM, Persatuan Kebangsaan Pelajar Islam Malaysia PKPIM, IIUM Student Union, Gabungan Pelajar-Pelajar Melayu Semenanjung GPMS, Kesatuan Mahasiswa Universiti Malaya, Angkatan Mahasiswa UM, Suara Siswa Universiti Malaya, Taylor's University Student Council, along with our media partners for this session, Kini TV, Chili Sauce Media, Esro Awani, and SAFE. Let's give them a round of applause. We would like to emphasize here that the discussion today is solely for knowledge purposes and to encourage the youth to voice out their respective opinions. Do take note that all the statements and suggestions from the debaters do not represent the stand of the organizers or any institution. For your information, today's debaters are a total of 20 people, each between 18 and 25 from all over Malaysia. Before the event begins, I would like to make a few announcements. This event will be conducted in English. Each debater will be given 3 minutes to present his and her problem statement and suggestions. A digital timer will be displayed on the screen during the presentation. The audience can vote statements and popular debaters on the website mk.my/undigenz. At the end of today's session, we will also select and announce the best debater, and for that, I would like to introduce the panel of judges who will be judging and selecting the debater today. And they are Mr. Hanif bin Abdullah, Senior Program Consultant, International Republican Institute IRI Malaysia, Ms. Chia Ting Ting, Chief Commercial Officer, Malaysia Kini Group, Ms. Diana Rose Roberts, Events Producer, Kini Events. Thank you so much to our panel judges. With this, the GenZ at the Podium 2023 will start now. A total of debaters who will be presenting their statements representing Team A, and they are Amir Hazim, Arjun Nerman, Divyashini Mahendran, Muhammad bin Basri, Yao Kahyan, Farisha Nur Kristina, Adisa Senaya, and Ahmad Akif. Meanwhile, a total of 8 debaters will be presenting Team B, and they are Abhishek Prasad, Khalid Hilman, Alia Nurdini, Pang Yun Ning, Ong Yu Lin, Ku Tian Huat, Abigail Maya Surin, and Abel Yap. Not only them, we are also joined by our politicians of today to also share some of their views with regards to youth contract, and they are YB Najwan Halimi, Youth Sports and Entrepreneurship Exco for Selangor State, and YB Daniel Goizi Sen, Youth Sports and Health Exco for Penang State. I would like to kindly remind the debaters, please follow the rules and etiquette during debate that have been presented during the previous briefing session. Next, I invite Mr. Muhammad Ika Daniel, Assistant Director, Institute of Diplomacy, Foreign Relations, IDFR, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to chair this debate session. Mr. Ika, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very pleasant afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much to the Master of Ceremony, Ms. Siti Zubaida, for the very kind introduction. I hope every audience, as well as particularly our respected debaters today, are in good health, as we are going to discuss a very important topic of the day. By the way, I am Daniel. I'm from Institute of Diplomacy and Foreign Relations, IDFR, a training and research arm to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Malaysia, and I will be chairing the debate today. Dear audience, this topic for today is, should Malaysia adopt youth contract to ease youth unemployment? Before starting this debate session, I would like to give all of you a little explanation about today's debate. The motion for today's topic is, this House believes that Malaysia should adopt youth contract to help ease youth unemployment rate. As we all know, that Malaysian youth face challenges finding stable and decent employment in our country, especially those without experience and necessary skills. In the United Kingdom, for example, a set of policies was introduced under the youth contract in 2012 to help young people in the country to gain a foothold in the job market and for employers to build a skilled workforce in the country. So, for the case of Malaysia, should we adopt the same policy? And how feasible is this proposal, and what is the impact to the nations and of course to the country? So without further ado, now I'm inviting the first speaker or the first debater from Team A, representing the government side, Mr. Arjun Nehman, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Arjun.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
I'll begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Members of the House, before we get into this debate, I want to go through the particle. I want you all to visualize the following events that I'm about to unfold to you. Imagine a child who has lived in poverty since his birth. He studies hard and passes with flying colors in SPM. He manages to get a partial scholarship at a renowned college. He gets to college, but due to his socioeconomic situation, he cannot further his studies in university. Nevertheless, he tries to get a job at every interview, but is rejected for one of the following reasons. A, the youth are deemed unprofessional. B, he has inadequate education. Or C, because of ageist views in the corporate world. This man is desperate and needs a job soon, but everything is stacked against him and he will have to resort to begging. Members of the floor, this is an account of just one of the 300,000 youths affected by youth unemployment in Malaysia today. This is not just a statistic. It represents a looming crisis that poses an imminent threat to the very foundations of the nation's economic and social stability. With a significant portion of the youth population being unemployed, it translates into a massive underutilization of human capital and potential. Youth unemployment hampers the nation's economic growth as they are not contributing to the economy through income generation or tax revenues. Youth contract, however, offers a solution to this issue. So what on earth is youth contract? Youth contract is an umbrella program for all sorts of youth unemployment initiatives, and this allows direct governmental involvement and streamlines the programs available today. This is not a standalone solution, but a comprehensive approach to address youth unemployment. How will the government carry out this youth contract? We as a government will provide tax rebates to incentivize companies and businesses to hire youth and invest in the potential of the youth. We will also create new programs that allow for diploma qualification, empower youth employment programs, and link them with government officers or private companies that also provide guaranteed internships. These programs will provide subsidized mentorship using the resources allocated from the government, networking opportunities, and provide guidance that could help them upskill themselves. This could be done by the companies or existing programs in Malaysia today. Youth contract will also be like protege when we open the doors for those who are unemployed and seeking for employment. And this includes from unemployed graduates to not in education, employment, or training individuals or needs. We will also provide upskilling programs to expose youths to in-demand skill sets. And upskilling will also fill the gap between skills possessed by young job seekers and skills demanded by the job market. Youth contract therefore acts as a bridge between the gap through targeted training programs. The burden of proof for us as side government is to open up more doors for the youth, especially underprivileged youth, as well as protecting the country's economic welfare by improving life standard of living of the youth. There's simply no reason to say no to the youth contract with all these benefits being provided. All sides will benefit, including the government. With that, I end my speech.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arjun Rahman. Please give a big round of applause for Mr. Arjun. Dear the debaters, the format for this debate has somehow a little bit changed for this fourth season. So now I want to invite and opening the floor for Team B representing the opposition to rebut this proposal. You need to press the wave button and I will call out your name. You'll have 1 minute to rebut. Please, Team B. Anyone from Team B would like to rebut the statement? From Team B, anyone can just put on your wave button and I will call out your name. Yes, I see Mr. Khoo Tian Hiat. Please. Khoo Tian Hiat.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay,
please.
questions I want to ask for the government is, according to the economy principles, a country is considered to have full employment when its unemployment rate is below 5%. And in Malaysia, our overall unemployment rate is impressively low at just 3.5%. And notably, the youth unemployment rate also dropped by 10,000 individuals last November. While the youth unemployment rate may seem relatively high, but it's actually quite normal on a global scale. So given Malaysia's strong overall employment situation and the recent improvement in youth unemployment, do we really need youth contracts that much?
Thank you very much for the question, Khoo. Now, does Arjun or anyone from Team A would like to reply to Khoo's rebuttal just now?
Yes, I'd like to reply. I'd like to say that YB Khoo over here has given a false statement, and the fact is that youth unemployment rate in Malaysia for 2022 and 2023 is actually 11.70%, not 3.5% as claimed by Mr. Khoo. Therefore, I think the entirety of Mr. Khoo's statement has been proven incorrect.
Thank you very much. I think the time is out for this first session. Thank you, Arjun and the debaters. And now I would like to invite the first debater representing Team B, that is the opposition, Mr. Alif Hilman, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Alif.
Hello. So, there is one small problem. Okay, so let me tell you a different story. Okay, you go to college. I mean, a person goes to college, goes to university, and despite all of his or her education, experience, and all of that, they still cannot get a job. It is a normal thing to not be able to be immediately employed after university. So why exactly is it is it necessary to pour this amount of money into into this sort of program because it does not seem feasible. The amounts do not seem feasible. You see, the UK allocated about £1,500, a one-time payment for one hire. Let's assume we can take that to 1,500 ringgit if implemented here or higher. Is a one-time payment of 1,500 ringgit to the employer really enough to give one person the chance to work? Employers can't just employ everyone because what would these new people even do without new tools, trainings, and new workplaces to work on? 1,500 ringgit per person is not even enough to offset all of these costs, including their pay, by the way, which is 1,500 ringgit minimum wage. So instead of that, why shouldn't we just create new businesses, assist new businesses? Uh, People such as the youth, we know what skills are going to be in demand. Like these why waste their potential on simple jobs like retail? There are more reasons than simple lack of education and experience that someone cannot be productive. It does not They do not need to be employed in the traditional manner to be productive. Though we can be innovative as youth. What's more retail going to add, especially considering the cost? Was Grab founded by old established companies? What about Microsoft? That is all. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alif Hilman, for the presentation of a problem statement. For information, Alif Hilman, representing Team B, is opposing this motion, saying that youth contract is not sustainable approach in the fight against youth unemployment. Therefore, now I open the floor for any members from Team A who would like to rebut Alif's statement just now. Please raise your hand or turn on your wave button so that I can call out your name. Yes, I see Farisha No Christina is raising her hand. Please, Farisha, the floor is yours.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
All right. I would like to say my Prime Minister has mentioned that young youth contract is not exactly a new program, or the money that we are going to give is not exactly to create new facilities. We're utilizing those existing youth funds such as Prodigy, AIF, and MyStep, and we have these facilities that are already sufficient. And we're giving these subsidies to help these companies further these programs and create better quality ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Farisha. Any member from Team B who would like to respond to that comment from Farisha? Or maybe Alif would like to give some comments to that?
Okay, so again, I don't believe the subsidies will actually be enough because of their because it's a lot of cost, and 1,500 ringgit, assuming we can increase that amount a little bit, it would not be it would not be sufficient, because remember, these people may not be fully profitable. They may not be able to help the company turn a profit, and businesses want to provide value. They want to increase profit, and they most of them cannot afford to just bleed money. Like, it is noble, it is a noble cause, but it is just not feasible given the amount of money that is available. Thanks.
Thank you, Alif Hilman. Just now, I see your colleagues, Pan Yuning from Team B, would like to respond as well. Yuning, do you have anything to say?
Hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes, very clearly.
All right, I want to support the Arif one, is that the government side said that they will use the funds for supporting some training program, right? Like supporting MyStat, the talent lab. But why the youth employment unemployment rate is still a problem in our society is because the one important issue contribute the youth unemployment is the job opportunity in our Malaysia doesn't align with the qualification and aspiration of our young worker force. It's not merely a method of insufficient financial support or educational attainment. Rarely it is because the limited availability of jobs that match their profession or professional qualification. The government must acknowledge that the mismatch is the main of the problem. The education has always been critically least important aspect when it comes for looking for a job. Hence, many say that the higher the education we have goes, then the better job we have. But is that really true? Let me take an example like always happening in Malaysia.
Sorry,
That
your time is up. Can you shorten your statement? Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, sorry. So my question is, does the proposed youth contract address the challenges of overqualifications of the youth nowadays?
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Yuni. Anyone from Team Team A, who would like to respond to that comment and question from Yuni? I think just now Arjun was also raising his hand. Maybe Arjun has something to say to Yuni's question just now.
So actually, I had something to say that was not related to Yunming's yeah, is that allowed?
Something irrelevant to this topic?
Oh no, it's relevant. It's about Alif's speech.
Okay, please proceed.
All right. So Alif, you had mentioned that that the cost for this youth contract is very high for government. We are going to be spending money and all that, blah blah blah. But you also need to understand that yes, we understand that the cost exists, but remember these unemployed youth are also taxpayers. They pay taxes like all of us, and when they are unemployed, the amount of tax revenue that they generate for our nation is very minimal. Whereas think about it on an aspect when they are employed, when they finally have a job, when they have a paying job, the tax revenue they produce for our nation is higher, which means that our nation stands to gain economically from it. We are seeing this as a win-win because at the same time where our nation gains economically, these unemployed youths can finally can finally get rid of their poverty-stricken issues and all that. So how do you respond to this?
Yes, Alif, do you have any response to that?
So my response to that is, well, it really isn't the issue of the government's of money out of the government's pocket. The problem is the participation of businesses in this. Remember, they are given these financial rewards, subsidies for participating in this program. But is it really enough to offset the cost of training and hiring these new people? These new people who are likely to not be able to contribute as much as existing unemployed people who are more skilled, perhaps more educated. That is all. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Alif, and also all the debaters for this second round session. I think all of us can start to feel the heat already. So to continue this hotly debated session, I'm inviting the second debater from Team A, Farisha Nur Christina, to present your statement for 3 minutes representing the government. Please welcome Farisha. Farisha, is everything good at your end? Because I could not hear your voice. Farisha, is everything okay with you? Okay, perhaps while waiting for Farisha or Christina to sort out her technical problem, we can proceed with Yao Kahyan, also from Team A, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Yao Kahyan.
Okay, so what I believe in this youth contract is that we should implement youth contract because we need to reduce the dependency of youth unemployment, the unemployed youth on the government aid because it's unsustainable. The government is already focused on uplifting the youth, and we can see this in the scholarship allowance for students and concession tickets for the public transport and many more. And the problem is some of the youth might become too comfortable with the fact that they will receive some sort of incentive from the government, and then leading them to believe that they do not need to worry about the being employed because they can apply for monetary aid anyway. We take the example of Bantuan Kewangan earlier, and it's a one-off payment. Yeah, we know that, and we understand that it's given to the youth that is seeking for employment and are unemployed. Of course, one would argue that there's nothing wrong with this, and this is act like a kickstart or a preparation for them to get into the workforce, but it does not guarantee a placement for them in the market like a youth contract would. So how exactly would government know and whether this money is going to help them to survive while searching for a new job, and how they can ensure it's not going to be a new second-hand digital switch? So contradictory to the youth contract, our program does not give them the chance to only depend on allowance of money, but we are giving them a sense of responsibility and for them to earn money for a living. So what youth contract does is to empower, not only to empower training and equipping the youth for their future, but subsequently provide them with the career that they were pursuing. As 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 mentioned in the mechanism for governmental programs, there were still companies and they are directly linked to the institution for them to find and absorb new talents into the companies and complete the internship program. Furthermore, availability of upskilling program and guarantee of career will help to the youth to progress. If not much, they will still achieve something. And ladies and gentlemen, in today's world where technology is ever evolving, you cannot simply survive with just one specific skill set. Job security today does not necessarily mean to stay in the position of the company for the longest time, but it means we can be flexible and maintain a demand in the workforce industry. So having these programs will certainly be of help to the youth and expose themselves in demand skill set that could maintain their relevance for at least 10 years from now. And then when they start to progress, they certainly would think that the financial aid is less than they would have before, because they know the fact that they have already secured career opportunity coupled within the networking links from the programs they attend, as well as the relevant user to write on. The worst case scenario, assume you know manage to pass through a internship program multiple times and fail to secure the job from the feeder program, but this person is not educated and is equipped with the skill relevant at the moment. Maybe they are not just meant for the particular company, and now they can have the opportunity to go for other company as well because they have diploma certificate now. So I believe we should really implement youth contract.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Yao Kahian from Team A for your presentation of problem statement. So Kahian from Team A is fully supporting the motion of the House, saying that youth unemployment rate in Malaysia presents an imminent threat to the nation's economic and social stability. So now I'm opening the floor, especially from Team B, to rebut Kahian's statement just now. So any one of you from Team B who would like to respond, give comments or questions to Kahian or Team A, please turn on your wave button or raise up your hand. Anyone from Team B? Yes, Alif, please proceed with your comment or questions.
Okay, so I do agree that it is a noble goal, but we cannot suffice with even if a little bit they'll learn something when it comes to a lot of money, a lot of taxpayer money being given out on this program. Yeah, we can't just settle for the the scraps, so to speak, of what this is. So there is an issue of that. A lot of money is going out, and even as you said, there's not much. I mean, worst case scenario, there's not much, but I do believe that it is not going to be much. So instead, why not we just excuse me?
Yes, please proceed.
Well, excuse me. Instead, why use all that money? Excuse Yeah, I'll just
You
end
mind?
it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, perhaps anyone from Team A who would like to respond to Alif's concern just now? Or maybe Kahyan has something to say as well?
Okay, I I, I believe that it shouldn't be just a little bit um improvement from their side, but I believe since this is the program is voluntary, and then they have taken the initiative to participate in this program, and they would surely give all their best to improve their skills. And from the company perspective, I believe they would still interview and go through the HR process to see whether they really want to take these candidates or not. So from that recruiting process, they will filter out who the competent only the competent candidate can be hired to their companies, and that would bring that means that the candidate is competent enough for that role. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kahyan. I think just now I saw Abigail Surin from Team B is standing out. Yes, please, Abigail, do you have anything to say to Team A?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I have a question for Team A. Okay, so how I have a few questions actually. So how sure are you that the effects of the youth contract are going to be long term? Okay, so my elaboration for this would be if they go for training and then the training ends, and then what if, because you say they will improve just a little bit, and then what if that extra little bit is they don't have like enough skills required by the employers for the employers to hire them? And then you also mentioned just now that the youth will go through interviews, if I heard correctly, and then they will go through interviews, and then the employers will pick out those who are competent enough for the job description. How about those who aren't competent enough? What about them? What is the government's plan for those who aren't competent enough, for those who didn't achieve the employer standards? Yes, that's all from me.
Yes, fantastic questions and comments from Abigail. Anyone from Team A? Yes, Farisha. Do you have anything to say, Farisha?
Am I audible now?
Yes, perfect.
All right. So to answer your questions, right, the worst case scenario that we're in now is that these people that go into the internship program or the training programs would have been not be chosen by the companies. Let's say they're gonna take a long time in that they are pursuing. But the worst case scenario on our part is that we can produce youth that are educated and that are more aware about the employee future. Now, side option has offered any or any viable worst case scenario.
So Farisha, your voice is breaking. Yes, Farisha. I think Farisha, you can reconnect and come in again. Please try your best to fix your technicalities as your turn is coming up. But while waiting for that, I will do justice to Farisha, of course, after this. But perhaps anyone from the floor who would like to raise any more concerns or any more questions with regards to this. Can you just raise up your hand or stand so that I can see your turn? Yes, Kahyan, maybe Kahyan, you have something to say to Abigail's question just now? Or anyone from members of the floor? Yes, Alif. Alif is raising his hand. Alif, do you have anything to say?
Yeah. So if we go through the whole needing to be filtered, needing to be interviewed again, don't we just go back to square one? Because the youth will, the ones who do not have enough qualifications and enough education would probably get filtered out all over again. Yes, maybe it lowers the bar, but this is quite a lot of money for something that lowers the bar slightly. Well, yeah. So
Thank you. Thank you, Ali, for your comment. Yes, Arjun from Team A. Do you have anything to respond to that?
Yes. So, Alif keeps on going about the cost of it and all that. We've already mentioned that these employed youths are going to be employed and they're going to contribute a lot to to the tax revenues gained from a country. That's number one. Number two is yes, it's lowering the bar, but I think that side opposition has an idea that only corporate jobs are considered to be employment. Any job can be employment. Even a janitorial job can be an employment. So there's no way that a youth that has some level, that has experience, that has learning, that has been provided by the government, cannot get employment. There's no way that a youth won't be able to get it. Let me repeat that again. So with that, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Arjun. So before I'm moving to the next debater to give the problem statement, do you have anything else to say, members of the floor, towards each other? Yes, Abigail.
Yeah,
Abigail from
okay. So
Team
yeah, okay. So I'm referring to what the Prime Minister from the government side has said. Okay, so he said that when the youth are employed, they will eventually pay tax. But okay, so what age of youth are you referring to? Because youth, they can range from 15 years old or maybe 20 years old, or for example, pre-university when they're 18 or 19. And for example, if they're 18 or 19, they are, for example, they take science subjects. They're not qualified enough with the education that they have, the pre-university education that they have, to go and work in a sector that they want to, for example, engineering, because they don't have enough like knowledge. They have to go degree level first. So their part, for example, and then if they want to work in part time, for example, like retail, they don't, their salary isn't enough to pay tax. So I need a bit of clarification from the government side over there.
Yes, thank you very much. Very precise and concise. So anyone from Team A, since it's Kahian's floor, perhaps Kahian has something to say, or maybe any members from Team A to respond to Abigail's question just now.
Okay. So
Team
if we
A?
talk about, hi, Anna, audible.
Yes, Kahian. Yes, please.
We talk about what the youth can bring back to the after the program, like, so when you talk about if the program is too expensive to be realistic, I believe that when we talk about expensive, we should compare it to something else so we can justify whether it's expensive or not. So the U contract, indeed they need human resources and monetary allocation to be implemented, but then looking at the existing support like the e-barrier just now, but it's just one off and then it's not sustainable. But in new contract, we can structure it into efficiently to maximize their impact. And the initial cost of the funding of the youth contract may seem expensive, but the long-term monetary and non-monetary benefits such as from the rising employment, higher productivity, the stronger economic growth is a compounding and invariable outcome to the nation and to the society. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Kahyan, and all the debaters for your very extremely active participation for the third round. So now I'm inviting the second debater from Team B, Mr. Ku Tian Huat, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Tian Huat.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So we need to be clear that Malaysia's youth unemployment rate is currently within expected parameters. So our country's youth unemployment rate dropped to 10.1% in the first quarter of the year compared to 11.1% for the same period last year. Our Deputy Minister of Human Resources, Mustafa Samud, said the high unemployment rate among youth is a global phenomenon faced by most countries. It takes into account that this age group is in the transition process from their academic years to the job market and then through the process of gaining employment. If you look at the overall unemployment rate, which I mentioned at rebuttal session earlier, Malaysia is at the full full employment state, which is 3.5%. Therefore, I think Malaysia should maintain the status quo and not adopt the youth contract to address youth employment. Firstly, the youth contract program proved ineffective in the UK. Since this policies was only implemented in the UK, we should base our discussions on British data and policies. The youth contract program in the UK aimed to assist 160,000 individuals, but only managed to help 4,700 individuals complete the program over 3 years with a failure rate of 97%. Shockingly, after 1 year of its implementation, youth unemployment in the UK increased by 10,000 individuals. Furthermore, in the UK, companies that participated in this policy were already inclined to hire new employees, making the subsidy redundant. In fact, 80% of the companies not interested in hiring new staff did not comply with the government's policy. So instead of proposing a policy that has proven to be a failure, I think we should be working on the policies that already exist in Malaysia. For example, the Academy in Factory AIF program launched last year had provides 18 months of the on-the-job learning and employment for young individuals aged 18 and above, and offering minimum wage and government subsidies. The scheme prioritizes national SPM programs from 2020 offer wage subsidies and transportation allowance for young employees. The Human Resources Ministry, through the SOSOS, has also intensified several programs, including the My Future Jobs platform, which provide more than 1 million job vacancies and 148,000 professional job vacancies. A total of 1,366 career fairs were organized nationwide, of which 21,740 job seekers, 78.1% of them are youths, and successfully secure placements. These existing policies has closely resembled the UK's youth contract program and have already been tailored to address Malaysia's specific needs. So rather than duplicating efforts, we should allocate our resources effectively to support other national development projects that benefit all citizens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tian Huat. So Tian Huat, representing Team B or the opposition, is opposing this motion, explaining that introducing the youth contract in Malaysia could be redundant in our youth employment landscape. He also emphasized that, citing the example from the United Kingdom, the UK's youth contract marked by a 97% failure rate and higher youth unemployment that serves as a warning. So now I'm opening the floor, especially for Team A, to rebut this proposal. You need to press the wave button or stand, and I will call out your name. You have 1 minute to rebut. And now I see Arjun Nehran is raising his hand and is standing up. So please, Arjun, you have 1 minute to rebut Tian Huat's statement just now.
All right, so first of all, opposition has failed to give us a viable alternative for youth contract that will solve youth unemployment. Remember that this House believes that Malaysia should adopt a youth contract to ease youth unemployment. Note that the youth unemployment part. Moreover, Mr. Koo is trying to say that youth unemployment should be normalized, and we have already mentioned that the unemployment rate in Malaysia is not 3.5%, but 11.70%. This is based on ILMIA, a governmental organization in Malaysia. So I don't know why opposition keeps spitting out fake information. I hope the audience is not misled. Moreover, we simply cannot base the youth contract on the UK because in the UK and Malaysia is completely different countries. In the UK, it's a developed nation, while Malaysia is still developing. While it would work in Malaysia, is because we have a lack of human resources all around the nation, and companies who desperately need this human resources will benefit with having a government rebates while the youth will be employed. It's also a win-win situation. It didn't work in the UK because they didn't have that big of a lack of human resources. So I'd like to see how opposition could reply to that.
Yes, thank you, Arjun, for the very excellent observation on the particular issue. Yes, Team B or Team Huat or anyone from Team B who would like to respond to Arjun's rebuttal just now, please.
I would like to respond.
Yes, Tian Huat, please.
So what I mentioned about 3.5% is about the overall unemployment rate of Malaysia. It's not youth unemployment rate. And if we want to talk about youth unemployment rate, our youth unemployment rate is actually quite normal within the global scale. If you look at France, you look at China, the country have a higher GDP per capita, higher than our country. They have 13 or 17% of the youth unemployment rate, and ours just 10.1% on the first quarter of this year. Okay, we already dropped our youth unemployment rate already dropped 1%. Okay, so secondly, we actually have many alternatives for the youth contract program, like Scheme Peratisan Nasional, like the Human Resources Ministry. They intensify many programs that offer millions of job vacancies. So we already have the similar policies in our country. So we shouldn't duplicating our efforts and introduce again policies that already proven failure in UK.
All right. Thank you, Chen Huat, for your response. I see Kahyan is standing up. Yes, please, Kahyan from Team A. Do you have anything to say?
Okay, now audible.
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Koo just now mentioned that the 3% is overall unemployment, but since the motion of the House is on youth unemployment, I believe we should focus on the 11%. And yes, we dropped 1%, but it's still higher than the pre-pandemic level. And Mr. Koo also stressed on the failure of the UK on implementing this program, but the effectiveness of your program can vary significantly depending on the country, economic, social, and labor market condition. The UK experience with the youth contract can indeed give us an informed lesson to learn from the international experience. But we will, while designing this the program, we will avoid the same pitfall, and then what happened in UK does not necessarily reflect what will happen in Malaysia. Besides, the initiative under the youth contract you customize to fit the local context and address Malaysia's specific trends and needs. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kahyan, for your response. Perhaps Mr. Koo Tian Huat from Team B has something to say, or any members of that?
Okay. Actually, I already answered just now. Like, even if we only discuss about the youth unemployment rate, our youth unemployment rate is actually quite normal on a global scale. And the government side have to know that the unemployment have many types, and including a type called frictional unemployment, which is during job transitions, which I believe like our youth is from 18 to 24, which many of them are in the study in the college or university, and they are in the transitions between education and job. So it's actually quite normal if we look at a global scale. And secondly, I can say them to government side, which is how can you ensure that youth contract will success in Malaysia? Like, because the only country that implemented youth contract is UK. So we should base our discussions on UK's and refer to it why they fail the contract, they fail the program. So we should refer to the only example in the global.
Thank you. Thank you, Tan Huat. I think just now I see Mr. Arjun Nehran from Team A was standing up. Arjun, do you have anything to say?
Yes. So Mr. Koo mentioned that the youth unemployment rate in Malaysia is quite normal on a global scale. But the thing is, we must not forget there are 300,000 youth in Malaysia who are affected by youth unemployment. Mr. Koo is basically saying that we should just forget about the lives of these people. Secondly, he also mentioned that youth contract has no guarantee, and we have to base it on the UK and all that. The thing is, we've already mentioned that we should not base it on the UK because there's a huge difference between the UK and Malaysia. For one, the UK is developed. We are still developing. We have many other things that are different from the UK. I've repeated this again and again. I think Mr. Koo lacks the understanding to hear my words. with that, I end my argument.
Thank you, Arjun. Just now I noticed Ms. Pang Yunming from Team B representing the opposition. Yes, Yunming, do you have anything to say?
Yes, yes, as government side say that the youth contract is more emphasized on helping youth to find a job, right? And by giving training. But the problem is, although the government side or like government agency already provide a lot of like training program and subsidy for you, why the youth unemployment still high? I think the main problem is the job opportunity in Malaysia is very less for them. So why the government didn't pay more attention on creating better employment environment to increase more FDI and create various job opportunity for youth? I hope government side can answer my questions.
Yes, thank you, Yunming, for the questions. Yes, Arjun from Team A. Do you want to respond?
Okay, yes, I agree with a lot with Bang Yumin. Yes, we do. We should be working on job opportunities and all that, and that is what's going on in the youth contract. We are trying to streamline the opportunities for the youth to get job opportunities, be it in private companies or governmental organizations. We've already tackled the issue, and I think it's safe to say that opposition is now trying to agree with us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arjun. Yes, Ms. Kahyan. Kahyan from Team A, do you have anything to say, to ask questions?
Yes, regarding Ms. Pang concern on the quantity of the job opportunities, I believe that the key challenge is often not just the sheer quantity of the job opportunities, as the number of job vacancy data was reported at 164,000 units in June 2023. Instead, is the alignment between the skill processed by the youth and the skill demanded by the available job vacancy. In many cases, there are disconnect between what job seekers are bringing to the table and what the employers are looking. So youth contract will prioritize the skill development of youth to bridge the skills gap and make young competitors, young job seekers more competitive for the existing job vacancy, and hence it will improve the employment rate.
Yeah, all right, thank you so much, Ms. Kahyan. Since it is Ken Huat's floor or his round, so before I move to the next presenter or debater to present a problem statement, perhaps Ken Huat has something to say to conclude his round. Okay, maybe there are certain problems with Ken Huat's technicalities. Any members from Team B who would like to give comments? Yes, Abigail.
All right, so I have a question for, it's a question. Okay, for the Prime Minister. Okay, so he said just now that we should notice the difference between the UK and the Malaysia. Yes, that I acknowledge, and because the UK is a developing country and we are a still developing country. So if the youth contract in the UK, it failed, then what about us, a still developing country? What are the chances of it to be like, what are the chances of it to succeed in a still developing country compared to an already developed country, which is the UK? Yes, that is my question for the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Abigail. Interesting. Perhaps Arjun has something to say to that question, Arjun.
Okay, so we also did mention that yes, the UK is developed and Malaysia is still developing. We acknowledge that, we agree with you. But we also mentioned that the UK does not have that big of a lack of human resources, whereas in Malaysia, we are facing a human resources crisis. That is one of the key reasons why youth contract will work in Malaysia, because I mentioned again, we have a lack of human resources, and therefore youth contract will allow the youth to not only get employed, but it will also solve the issue of lack of human resources in Malaysia that we have faced since the pandemic began in 2020. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Arjun. So thank you very much for everyone's participation in this third session or third round. So now to do justice, I'm going back to invite the third debater from Team A. He's going to be the final debater who is going to present the problem statement. Ms. Farisha Nurkistina from Team A representing the government side. Yes, please welcome Farisha to present your statement for 3 minutes. I hope your line is perfect this time.
I hope so too. Am I audible now?
Yes, for now it's okay.
All right, thank you. Mr. Moderator, members of the floor. Today, I stand before you to shed light on a critical issue plaguing our society, the harms of dependency among unemployed youth on government monetary aids that are ultimately unsustainable and the unskilled labor that we have today. I will also explore the question of whether the youth contract should be implemented in Malaysia to mitigate youth unemployment. First, let's address the issue of dependency. While government monetary aids undoubtedly provide a safety net for those in need, excessive reliance on these aids by unemployed youth can have dire consequences. According to a study conducted by the Malaysian Institute of Economic Research, prolonged dependence on financial assistance can lead to a decrease in work motivation, skills erosion, and even a sense of entitlement. This not only harms individual growth, but also burdens our already strained public finances. However, youth contract comes with providing programs that will certainly be of help to the youth to expose themselves to in-demand skill sets that could maintain their relevance for at least about 10 years from now. Then, when they start to progress, they certainly would think less about the financial aids that was offered, like e-Belia, BTR, and so on and so forth, than they would have before, because they know for a fact that they have secured a career opportunity, coupled with networking links from the programs that they attended, as well as a relevant skill set for them to rely on. As I mentioned before, the worst case scenario from our side, from side government, is that a student did not manage to pass through the internship program or the selection program after going to the training programs and failed to secure the job from the feeder program. But now this person is now educated and is equipped with the skills relevant at the moment. Realize that inside government we have produced youth that is aware and also that is educated enough to be competitive in the workforce industry. Moving on, the unsustainability of such aid programs is a pressing concern. The World Bank's data reveals that Malaysia's public debt has been on the rise, reaching 58% of GDP in recent years. Continued reliance on government monetary aids without proactive measures can exacerbate this issue, jeopardizing our economic stability and future generations' well-being. But with the existence of youth contract, the government would certainly be able to minimize the money allocation for the unemployed youth and can focus these resources on creating more beneficial programs that provide long-term impacts instead of spoon-feeding them one e-Belia at a time. I remember back in July when I first got my full-time job at a retail store. My wage is enough for me to survive and treat myself to new headphones. And I did not even bother to look for any incentives for the youth like e-Belia, though I still claimed it because I know for a fact that I'm actually eligible for it. But realize that I do not actually need it is such a privilege for me because I do have a job because of I received good results in my SPM. And then with this, I have explained to you one, how dependency on this unsustainable government aid stifles personal growth, strains public finances, and threatens our economic stability more than the opposition side. The youth contract which happens in the side opposition. Youth contract, inspired by successful global models, offers a promising solution to tackle youth unemployment while promoting self-reliance and economic growth. It's time for us to consider this innovative approach to secure a brighter future for our youth and our nation. Thank you. With that, I raise my case.
Thank you very much, Farisha. Luckily, your line was perfect right now. So now I'm inviting any members from Team B to rebut Farisha's proposal just now. So Farisha from Team A, representing the government side, is saying that government monetary aids like BTR, e-Belia create dependency for youth in employment, thus making her in support of this motion of the House. So any members of the floor, especially from Team B, who would like to rebut Farisha's statement just now? Yes, Alif Hilman from Team B. Please proceed.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that dependencies are very, very bad for the long-term growth and status of the country. However, is the youth contract not also a dependency? Because it is it is a subsidy of some kind to help employ the difficult to employ. That is why they are currently unemployed. Would that not just be another form of dependency for businesses? Once the dependency subsidies and all that run out,
is it not true that most of them, especially the ones that really are unemployed, really are difficult to employ, won't they just get abandoned again?
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ali Filman. Farisha, do you have anything to say?
Yes. Well, any sort of initiatives by the government would create dependency by your logic. But this time, we're creating an initiative that could be a long-term solution for youth unemployment. Because one, we don't want this youth to just in the status quo today, it seems that opposition does not care enough about the youth, that they are willing to let them just be without, actually enforcing something, without being efficient about solving youth unemployment. Of course, there are existing youth programs. And what the youth contract does in our world is that we provide a streamlined program or basically a monitoring by the government directly. And this way, it could involve more people. It could involve a larger group of demographic of people, including the youth between 18 to 25 years old. So with your logic, I think even on your side of the world, there will still be dependency happening, but just that yours has it worse because yours has short-term effects with e-Belia only, and then how would they survive long-term with that? So yeah, that's why.
Thank you, Farisha, for the very solid testaments. And Alif, yes, do you have anything to say to rebut Farisha's statement just now? Alif
Okay.
Hilman?
Yeah, hello? Oh, okay. You can hear.
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, there is the youth contract does in fact help if it succeeds. The problem is it costs a lot to even start it out, and as the UK has shown, despite Mr. Arjun's argument that it is different between the UK and Malaysia, is it really good to take the risk? Because it costs, again, it costs administrative training and all of that. It costs, and it might not even work. In the UK, it has had an abysmal adoption rate. One of the reasons why it failed.
And Hilman, back to you, Farisha. I think you are interested to answer to that question.
All right, thank you, Hilman. That's a very good point of view. But realize that the youth contract in the UK, they did not have any models before that. So now, since we have the model and we have a country that we can look upon and we can actually study the reasons behind the fall or the failures of the youth contract itself, we can try to abolish that. We can try to avoid them in our current implementation and realize that the youth contract is not exactly a new thing, but the only thing new is that we have apprenticeship grants like the UK. But most of the time, most of it, we're just going to empower TVETs, polytechnics, and basically upskill Malaysia, AIF, programs like that I have mentioned before. My Prime Minister and my whip has mentioned before. We're just empowering those programs. So it's not exactly new. So even Germany has done this. So why look into one that has failed when there are multiple other models that have been modified or that is good? So yeah.
Thank you very much, Farisha, and also thank you, Alif, for your one-to-one rebuttal between Alif and also Farisha. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear debaters, we still have one more last debater who is going to present her problem statement. So now I would like to respectfully invite the last and third debater from Team B, representing the opposition, Ms. Abigail Maya Suring, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Abigail.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Am I audible?
Yes, perfect.
All right, okay, thank you. Okay, so representing side government, we believe that Malaysia should not adopt the UK's youth contract. Okay, so before we take a look at the UK, let's look at the Malaysian statistics. The number of youths who were unemployed in June 2023 was 446,800 people. Although that figure seems quite small, this number of youths can fit an average of 5 Bukit Jalil stadiums. And to give context, That is Asia's fifth largest stadium. And are we supposed to just sit back and watch the number go down by itself? No. Therefore, the opposition proposes a scheme where businesses and companies tailor a program based on their specific needs and wants. Okay, so now let's look at the youth contract. Expected to last only 3 years, the premature withdrawal of the youth contract was to no surprise. One of the reasons that happened was because it wasn't focused on what employers needed from the employees. Some corporations were even reluctant to hire youths, even with the wage incentive given by the government, because the young people lack skills required by employers to take them in. Therefore, what the government is hoping, what the government has been speaking about just now, the opposition believes that we should move away from this one-size-fits-all policy, and instead, like, the solution is to create a program which helps the youth to become more compatible in the employment market, as well as to become more employer-led by giving power to businesses and companies to customize a program which suits their necessities. This should be done instead because the people creating and administering the scheme understand their organization better compared to a body which is the government, who is creating a policy for all the businesses and companies. However, with the great power comes great responsibility. This is because there is a chance that these companies and businesses might abuse their power when tailoring the scheme to exploit the youth they hire and carry out severe injustice towards them. Hence, the opposition argues a detail-based guideline should be created for employers to adhere to. Under this guideline, regular surveys and observations should be conducted to assess the well-being and progress of the youth under the scheme, and similarly, reports on program outcomes should be generated by businesses and corporations. A mechanism should also be implemented where young people can provide frequent feedback and report any violations upon them to ensure the program runs smoothly. In conclusion, Malaysia shouldn't adopt the UK's youth contract due to several reasons like skill mismatch and failure to address the employer's actual skill requirements. Thus, the opposition believes that Malaysia should implement a different scheme, one that is catered towards employers and focused towards the compatibility of youths in the job market. Together, we can build a future where our younger generations can live without having to worry about being unemployed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abigail, for the very energetic presentation. Abigail, representing Team B, that is the opposition side, is opposing the motion, saying that some corporations were reluctant to hire youth because of the lack of skills required by the employers. Thus, businesses and companies should be given the power to tailor a specific scheme based on their needs and wants. So now I'm inviting any members, especially from Team A, representing the government side, who would like to rebut Abigail's statement just now. Please welcome. Yes, Mr. Arjun Nehman.
All right, so I'm here to prove that opposition has completely knifed their case from the very start. Now, Miss Abigail just came in and tells me that we shouldn't just watch the youth unemployment rate go down. It's very big and it's such a huge number and all that, blah, blah, blah. But just a few minutes ago, the deputy leader of opposition, Mr. Koo, says that the youth unemployment rate in Malaysia is normal when compared to a global scale. He said that's normal, and basically he's saying that we shouldn't really care about it. So which is which? Government is clearly saying opposites on this matter. Now, the alternative that Ms. Abigail also mentioned is exactly what we're doing under youth contract. Doesn't that mean that side opposition agrees with us? With that, I end it.
Yes, thank you, Arjun. Back to you, Abigail. Do you have anything to say to Arjun? Okay, well, waiting for that is okay. I think just now I saw Alif Hilman from Team B. Yes, Alif, do you have anything to say?
Okay, so a normal rate of unemployment, a normal rate of youth unemployment, and a very high number of youth unemployment are two things that are not mutually exclusive. The high rate of youth unemployment the normal rate of youth unemployment experience with the high amount of youth unemployment compared to the world. Sorry, the rate is high compared to the world, the amount is, well, normal. But I think so. Never mind. You get my point. But regardless, those are not mutually exclusive because this is a problem shared by many, many other countries. It is a big issue, yes, but we're not doing nothing about it. We do suggest many things. Instead of just allocating the money elsewhere, a lot of things take time to succeed, and adding another program is not going to guarantee that, especially considering, again, the cost. It's not just about giving up. Time's up, sorry.
All right. Thank you, Alif. Just now I saw Arjun was standing up. Arjun, do you have anything to say?
Yes, so first of all, Mr. Alif comes in and tells me again that the youth unemployment rate in Malaysia is not normal, but at a global scale it's normal. And it doesn't make sense because what he's trying to say is that he agrees with the deputy leader of opposition, but at the same time he has to agree with the width of the opposition. Secondly, we also need to understand that whatever opposition is suggesting, if they claim that it's completely different from our program, still has some cost. It still has the same cost as a youth contract. So essentially, opposition is not providing another alternative that tackles their issue, their concern of the cost, as Mr. Alif had raised. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arjun. I think our time is up, but as a moderator and as a speaker for today, I'm using my power just to allow one last rebuttal. So now, just now I saw Alif was raising his hand. So Alif, please, what is your rebuttal to Arjun?
Apologies, Mr. Arjun. I did misspeak. I believe okay. So what I said was, the number is a very big and scary number, but this is a problem shared across many other nations in the world. Remember, the youth unemployment rate is in Malaysia is fairly normal across the entire world. This is a problem, but this is a problem shared by everyone. So those are mutually exclusive. Yeah. So, but we do not, again, like I said, we don't suggest no alternative. We suggest keeping on our the existing programs because we cannot afford wastage. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Alif. Actually, our time is up, but at the end of this debate session, I see a lot of hands raising just now. Just one last point, perhaps, from Farisha and Christina, since I saw your hand was raised just now. Do you have anything to say, Farisha?
Thank you. All right.
Not a question,
can you hear?
please, just a comment.
All right. I'm just saying that that is exactly what we're doing right now. We're trying to facilitate the existing programs, except with better monitoring, with better administration, and also number two, what do you mean by logically speaking, your side only wants to maintain what's bad now because you think, oh, other countries also suffer the same thing. So why do we have to become better than them? We're not trying to become better than them or any some sort, but we're trying to curb this issue. If other countries are facing this issue, why do we have to follow them in facing this issue as well? We have to do something about it. So yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Farisha. Just to do justice, since it is Abigail's floor, Abigail, do you have anything to say within 1 minute? Do you have anything to conclude?
Yes, okay. So, referring to the point presented by the Deputy Prime Minister just now, she said that they would keep the existing programs but improve it a little. But that is contradicting what they are going for, which is going for the youth contract, and youth contract is based off on the UK. So yeah, thereby is basically contradicting the motion of the House lah.
All right, thank you very much, Abigail. What a fantastic debate, everyone. Please give a big round of applause to everyone. It is time to rest your case for today. What a great debate and also participation from all of you. Thank you very much, all debaters. Dear debaters, we are very grateful and fortunate today as we are not debating just among us, among the opposition, also the government side, but we are also joined and participated by two esteemed youth politicians with us today. So now I would like to invite our first politician of the day, Yang Berhormat Najwan Halimi, Expo for Youth, Sports and Entrepreneurship for Selangor, to present your statement. Please welcome the Honorable Najwan Halimi.
Assalamualaikum and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of this Youth Parliamentary Debaton program. Thank you for providing me with the opportunity to address this crucial issue today. The topic at hand, should Malaysia adopt a youth contract to ease youth unemployment, is of paramount importance to the future of our nation. I'm truly inspired by the passion and determination demonstrated by the young people who have engaged in debates on the pressing issue of unemployment. Their commitment to finding solutions and their willingness to tackle such a complex problem head-on is a testament to their drive and potential to shape a better future for all. First and foremost, let us acknowledge the gravity of the problem we face. Youth unemployment in Malaysia is a pressing concern, and it's our duty as responsible citizens and leaders to seek effective solutions. A youth contract is a proactive step that can make a significant impact in addressing this crisis. To begin with, a youth contract is a policy framework designed to create job opportunities and provide support to young people entering the workforce. It typically includes measures such as subsidized employment, skills training, mentorship programs, and incentives for employers to hire young talents. Here are several compelling reasons why Malaysia should adopt such a contract. First, high youth unemployment rates. Malaysia's youth unemployment rate has been steadily rising, and it is currently well above the national average. The COVID-19 pandemic was exacerbated this problem. A youth contract can provide targeted assistance to this vulnerable demographic. Second, economic development. Investing in our youth is an investment in the future of our country and our economy. Young people bring fresh ideas, energy, and innovation to the workforce. By supporting their entry into the job market, we can accelerate economic growth. Third, reducing social inequality. Youth unemployment contributes to social inequality and can lead to long-term negative consequences for individuals and society. A youth contract can help level the playing field by ensuring that young people have equal access to opportunities. And fourth, enhancing skills and employability. Through skills training and mentorship programs, a youth contract can equip young job seekers with the skills and confidence they need to excel in their careers. This not only benefits individuals, but also strengthens our workforce. Hadirin yang saya hormati, suka untuk saya nyatakan bahawa Kerajaan Negeri Selangor sentiasa beri perhatian terhadap masalah-masalah yang dihadapi oleh rakyat, termasuklah isu pengangguran. Kadar pengangguran di Selangor menurun kepada 2.9% pada tahun lalu berbanding 4.3% yang direkodkan pada 2021. Tidak dapat kita nafikan bahawa penurunan kadar pengangguran ini juga kesan daripada penganjuran program seperti Selangor Mega Job Fair yang dianjurkan oleh kerajaan negeri pada ketika itu. Laporan juga telah memperlihatkan sebanyak 39,278 peluang pekerjaan yang merangkumi pelbagai sektor antaranya otomotif, teknologi maklumat, perhotelan, sukan, pemasaran dan jualan, makanan dan minuman, F&B, peruncitan, pentadbiran dan perkhidmatan serta lain-lain industri disediakan dalam program Selangor Mega Job Fair pada 2022. Pada tahun ini juga, program yang sama telah dilaksanakan pada bulan Jun yang lalu. Selain Selangor Mega Job Fair, kerajaan negeri juga telah menganjurkan program inisiatif kemahiran teknikal dan iktisas Smart Selangor, program Selangor Kerjaya dan program Jelajah Job Care. Program berskala mega ini adalah salah satu usaha proaktif bagi membuka lebih banyak ruang dan peluang dalam membantu golongan belia yang menganggur untuk mendapatkan pekerjaan yang bersesuaian dengan latar belakang pendidikan dan kemahiran yang mereka miliki. And in conclusion, adopting a youth contract in Malaysia is not just a policy. It is a commitment to the future prosperity of our nation. It's an acknowledgement that the youth are not only the torch bearers of our culture and traditions, but also the driving force behind our economic and social progress. By implementing a youth contract, we send a powerful message to our young people: believe in your potential, invest in your future, and we are committed to ensuring your success. This commitment goes beyond mere words. It translates into tangible actions that will shape the destiny of Malaysia. Let us remember that the challenges of youth unemployment not only impact the individual lives of our young citizens, but also ripple through our society and economy. High youth unemployment rates lead to discontent, social unrest, and economic stagnation. However, by investing in our youth today, we can break this cycle and pave the way for a brighter tomorrow. Therefore, I urge each member of this debaton to consider the long-term implications of our decision. The adoption of a youth contract is not an expenditure, but an investment, one that will yield significant returns in the form of a skilled and motivated workforce, thriving economy, and a more equitable society. In the spirit of progress and inclusivity, let us stand together and make a choice that will define our nation's path forward. Let us choose to adopt a youth contract, recognizing that by doing so, we are not just addressing youth unemployment, we are sculpting a future in which every young Malaysian can aspire, achieve, and contribute to the growth and prosperity of our beloved Malaysia. Thank you for your attention, and I implore you to support this motion wholeheartedly for the betterment of our youth and the nation as a whole.
Thank you very much, YB Najwan Halimi. Please, all debaters give a big round of applause for YB Najwan. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we are having with us the Honorable GenZ Sen, Exco for Youth, Sports and Health for Penang, to present your statement. Please welcome the Honorable. YB, perhaps you can press M on your keyboard, M for Malaysia, to unmute yourself. YB Gui, I could not hear your voice. Perhaps you can press letter M.
My apologies. Sorry, I'm attending this actually. In fact, I'm traveling. I'm still in my car. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for the technical issue. Just let me get my seat first. Okay, very good afternoon to the team at Kini Events, to my dearest counterpart from Selangor, YB Najwan Halimi, to all the participants of the GenZ the Podium, Today, I felt very honored with the opportunity to participate and to listen through some of the very interesting debates when we talk about the issues of a youth contract and in terms of unemployment that is happening in our country. So I believe I would like to commend both sides, both the government as well as opposition, who have managed to put out a substantive argument in terms of arguing the topics ahead of us today. But let's look at in terms of, if we look at employment in particular, employment among youth in the country. Let's think back about our forefathers. Back then, our forefathers, our previous generation, back then, I believe the government did not have any more, in terms of efforts or programs or policies that are actually streamlined to encourage youth employment or employment in any form. Back then, in our times of our forefather, unemployment is just not an option, I believe. Back then, because jobs, you would say that there were no much variety of jobs. Back then, they have very less options, but the only options they get to choose is between whether you are employed or unemployed. But in comparison, in our generation nowadays, we have multiple types of jobs, various types of jobs. Even the term of employment or unemployment is very difficult to define nowadays with the introduction of a gig economy, and perhaps some of those recorded within the unemployment statistics, perhaps they were entrepreneurship. They were not recorded within any of the target radar under any of the government agencies. So on paper, they might be unemployed, but perhaps they were on their own businesses, or their employment were actually registered in a foreign country other than in Malaysia. So it is a very interesting topics that we discussed today. And on behalf of the Penang State government, this is an issue that we hold very close to our heart. In fact, I would like to share with each and every one of you today, if you are aware that Penang Skill Development Corporation is one of the first skill development corporation in Malaysia, which are formed in Penang by the industry leader, especially by our champions among those manufacturing and electrical industry these participants, and whereby through PSDC, Penang Skill Development Corporation, not only we are providing the training, the type of skills or development that are going to prepare our youth for the actual job challenge, but on the other hand, we are providing incentives, we are providing allowance for them to undergo such training, and there is a confirmed employment upon completion of training. But again, we are facing some challenges today in comparison to the gig economy. Normal training, normal education will require you to spend at least a year minimum. Perhaps if you were to take on a diploma or a degree studies, it will take you minimum of 3 years. But in comparison, for our friends participating in gig economy, you don't need much training. You just need to perhaps within a month get your motorcycle license and you are good to go. And the problem is for the lucrative pay on the gig economy is perhaps equivalent to those fresh graduate nowadays. So when we talk about brain draining in our country, we are not suffering brain drain of our youth going to overseas or to other locations, but in fact, we are suffering a brain drain. That is, we are losing out our youth or our employment, our work.
YB, your voice is breaking, YB. I think we lost you. All right, I think we are losing YB Daniel Gui just now, but it's okay. I think every one of us has gotten the very important points from YB Gui, a very fantastic sharing from him as well as part of the Penang State Government. Everyone, all debaters, please give a big round of applause for YB Gui for his time and also for joining us today. So I think we have come to the end of our debate session today. So to all debaters, thank you very much for your extremely active participations, for your ideas, for your perspectives as well for better Malaysia of tomorrow and the years in future. As we know, ladies and gentlemen, that Sustainable Development Goals SDG 2030 is just 7 years ahead of us, but somehow we are still lacking in some of the important sectors. And today's topic about unemployment is very close to SDG, especially goal number 1, no poverty, and also goal number 8, that is decent work. So of course, no matter how short your speech was just now, it is very important as it is going to assist our lawmakers and also policymakers in drafting and also in formulating the best policies for the better future of our youth tomorrow. As we know that youth issues require youth-based solutions. So that is why youth as part of the social system, it needs the whole of government and whole of society approach in addressing each and every of their issues. So again, I appreciate all the participation from all debaters and quoting from a Canadian poet, Margaret Atwood, saying that a word after a word after a word is power. So that I am passing the floor back to the MC. Thank you and salam hormat.
Thank you so much to our amazing debaters. From today's session, we watched constructive discourse and the ability to articulate your viewpoints have truly captivated and enlightened us all. Thank you to Mr. Ika too to strike a balance, maintain order, and stimulate engaging conversations. Thank you to our panel of politicians for contributing your opinions. Great job, everyone. Moving on. The moment we all have been anticipating has come. Who is the best debater for this session? With that, I would like to invite Iman Rizwan, event producer for Gen Z at the podium, to announce the winner.
Sorry, I think I'm muted all this while. My bad. Um, I was telling about the debaters. This session is very aggressive. In the history of Gen Z at the podium, um, the Team B has always been aggressive. So this is my first time saying Team A. They are really aggressive this time, and I'm actually very happy to see May really point out the point, especially in the topic of youth contract. I would also like to highlight that youth contract, although we use the example of UK youth contract, if you have done your research, you should also know that other states do as well the contract where they work with private companies and provide jobs to fresh graduates or even young as 16 years old. It's just that UK has used the term UK youth contract. But I was also hoping that the government pointed out actually which countries has also touched on this topic, not just to touch on UK youth contract. But you guys did a really great job. So please press C for all of you both. Before we waste more of the time on this Saturday, I'm going to announce who's the best debater for this session. The winner will go home with 1,000 ringgit cash and also a lifetime subscription from Malaysia Kini. So you can read news for the rest of your life. Okay. Without further ado, the winner is none other than Abigail Maya Surin from Team B. Round of applause, please. Okay. Congratulations, and I'm passing back to CT.
Congratulations to the best debater, Abigail Maya Surin. Remember, in the world of debating, winning isn't the only measure. The ability to express your thoughts is a winning skill. Thank you, Iman Rizwan, and congratulations to all of our debaters today. For viewers out there, you are still able to vote for your favorite statements by the debaters at mk.ny/undigenz for a month until 30th October 2023. Next, we would like to kindly invite you to answer a survey that will be shared with you through your email in the nearest time and stand a chance to win a 20 ringgit GrabFood voucher by answering the survey. Just spend 5 minutes on it and you will potentially win the voucher. Easy, right? With that, thank you all the viewers for staying with us throughout the event. And on behalf of the organizer, I would like to once again graciously thank our collaborative partner, International Republican Institute, supporting partner Ministry Youth and Sports, soft skills training partner Malaysian Institute of Debate and Public Speaking MIDP, Metaverse partner Experiential Design Team EDT, co-partners Undi 18, Undi Sabah, The Risers, Institute for Research and Development of Policy, IRDP and MYADP, the Malaysian Hub, Majlis Belia Malaysia MBM, Persatuan Kebangsaan Pelajar Islam Malaysia PKPIM, IIUM Student Union, Gabungan Pelajar-Pelajar Melayu Semenanjung GPMS, Kesatuan Mahasiswa Universiti Malaya, Angkatan Mahasiswa UM, Suara Siswa Universiti Malaya, Taylor's University Student Council, along with our media partners Malaysia Kini, Kini TV, Chili Sauce Media, Esro Awani and SACE. Once again, well done debaters. We are confident that your talents will shine through and captivate us, leaving a lasting impression. For your information, all the debaters here will receive a free Malaysia Kini subscription for 1 year worth 200 ringgit. Once again, we would like to apologize if technical shortcomings may have occurred that may have affected your viewing or listening experience. With this, it's the end of our 4th episode of the Gen Z at the Podium 2023. Good evening, and I hope to see you all in the Metaverse in October. I am Siti. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. And thank you so much, YB Daniel, for coming. I'm so sorry that you had audio issues, but the moderator has summed up your point because you actually pretty much said everything you need to say. It was really great. Thank you for coming. Thank you, debater. Congratulations, Abigail. And yes, you can go rest the rest of the Saturday. I won't bother you guys. And I will reach out to you all in the group for follow-up.